My name is Dennehey. I am the Director of Information Technology at Marshall Dennehey, and I've been with the firm for about 6 years.
Sure, and I'm Stephen Schnee. I'm the Assistant Director of IT for Marshall Dennehey.
My name is Callie McBride. I am the Project Manager with the firm at Marshall Dennehey.
So as the Director, I pretty much am responsible for the direction that the firm takes, whether it's information, governance, or cybersecurity, you name it, document management systems, user experience, training, all of those. If it's technology based, then it's within our team.
And in my role, provide operational oversight over the networking team, which includes all the infrastructure for the firm, the desktop services group, which is all of our laptops, mobility, and also our growing security team that we have at the firm.
I am responsible with bringing on pretty much any project that comes along in the firm, whether in IT or outside. It could be in marketing, finance, whatever. So I make sure that the project gets implemented from the time of inception to the time we go live.
Marshall Dennehey is a civil defense law firm. We're one of the largest in the country. We have about 20 offices, about 500 attorneys.
With us being civil defense litigation, a lot of our cases are litigated outside of the courtroom, outside of trials. So therefore, we do have a lot of conference rooms in our offices. We're based in Philadelphia as our headquarters, but as Nane mentioned, we're up and down the East Coast with a pretty significant presence in Florida and the New York region. With our construction, with new offices or office moves that we've had, we focused on conference centers to accommodate our clients and those that we're representing. So that's where AskCody fits in nicely with our significant dependence on conference rooms and having meeting places for our attorneys and staff.
The meat, I guess you could say, of the firm and make sure that all the applications run and bring on anything new that we would need. So with AskCody, we were looking to replace our current meeting management tool with something a little more modern.
So there were several reasons we were looking. One is the existing system was outdated. It was very old. It was at the firm for many years, so it had deep roots. Another is that it was end of life. It was no longer supported. So we really had to pursue something, a replacement. They had an upgraded version that we could have moved to, but we wanted to look out and see what else was out in the world. So, we were at the ILTA conference. I saw a presentation, AskCody, and it was the first time that I had heard of the product, and seeing the positive feedback from other firms who had implemented it, I reached out to our manager of desktop services and told him to have a look at the product, as we were at that time comparing multiple platforms.
Product that we did have, that wasn't their core focus, it wasn't the meeting room manager. That was a kind of a side product that they had. They had other endeavors. And Outlook integration was something that we didn't have in our current version that was important for our user base.
Several years ago, we actually polled our law firm with a survey and asked them basically the criteria for a meeting room tool. So with the response and feedback from that survey, we gathered all the criteria that we were looking for and started researching different meeting management tools. So it started with our desktop manager, and then I was brought in later to kind of implement the project. I helped review different applications and look through many demos, and then yours, AskCody, actually came across as fitting most of the criteria that we needed based on feedback.
One of the things that we knew that we wanted to do was to get a modern system, something that didn't resemble Windows 3.1 like the previous system. Like Steve mentioned, we wanted something, a system that would be integrated with our email system, because the previous conference room system was strictly browser-based. So there was no integration with our email, which means you'd have to go to the internet or a website, log into that website, which there were authentication issues there. And then you would schedule your meeting there or reserve your room there and then schedule your meeting within our email system, which obviously creates all sorts of opportunities for human error. People put the wrong date or the wrong time. If they cancel the meeting in the email system, then they would forget to cancel the room reservation, so that left the room reserved even though there was no room being used. So, we were looking to modernize. We wanted something with a nice modern look and feel and something that was user-friendly and intuitive. Looking at all the various players on the market, AskCody checked off all of those boxes.
Yeah, another important feature was cloud-based. It's very advantageous of us to have that in the cloud, where we're not responsible for the infrastructure for doing the updates. One of the former product that we had, while it was eventually moved to the cloud, that was on-prem, and it was very difficult to update and required a lot of time and investment in the updates. And then when we would do that, something would always break. So having something in the cloud was also very important to us.
But we'll add to that. We wanted something that that would work with an on-prem solution and in the cloud, because we're kind of in transition. So fortunate, because some of the solutions we looked at, they were 100% cloud, which wouldn't work with our existing setup. So fortunately, AskCody was able to accommodate that.
I would describe AskCody as basically a one-stop shop. Mm-hmm. It's all integrated within Outlook for the end user, which is very easy to use. Basically, go into your calendar and Outlook and book a meeting room. It's very easy to bring on board. The training was simple, so it was not extensive for the end user to learn and adapt. So it really helped with a user-friendly and easy integration for the end user. So then that's what we were looking for.
The biggest impact, I think, is simply the ease of reserving conference rooms when you're scheduling meetings, and that's the feedback that we're getting. And also when you have to cancel a meeting, that conference room frees up, and you don't have to do additional steps to go into another system to remove it. We have a lot of clients, and so cybersecurity, confidentiality, privacy, all of these things are very high on our list. In fact, any product that we look to bring into our organization has to pass our security check first. The fact that AskCody is GDPR compliant, that right there, we're fine. Now we know, because we have to comply with GDPR, so we're like, okay, awesome. So that right there checked off one of the boxes. Next on the list, obviously cost is a huge factor. We've got a budget just like everyone else. And so as we were comparing products and features, and again, going back to the survey that we conducted with our administrative staff, AskCody just ultimately ended up winning out. We found that the product was more aligned with our budget than the other products. But I don't want to give the impression that cost was the end all be all, because had it not met our other criteria, it wouldn't the product wouldn't even have made it to our top three. So we did vet numerous solutions, but in the end, we really felt good about AskCody. Again, I heard very positive feedback from other law firms at Ilticon, and that means a lot to me. I rely heavily on other organizations' reviews, and hearing that they had such positive experience, saying that you guys are GDPR compliant, saying that you could provide an on-prem and cloud solution, and that your cost was aligned with our budget. You just checked off all the boxes.
Sure. When we were evaluating different meeting room platforms, one of the biggest criteria was a solution that could be used on-prem with Exchange, and then possibly moving later to Exchange Online. So that helped narrow down a lot of the tools. And then also the ease of the product. So how quickly would it be adopted? Is it user-friendly? Is it more modern? We did want something that would be basically in one place. So having it all within Outlook is a huge plus for us.
So the support that we received, Colleen, I forget her last name, might be Sickle, but Colleen was phenomenal. She was extremely attentive, and that was extremely helpful getting us from point A to point B, and addressing any issues that we had. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as implementation goes, going live with the product, I would place it at about a 4.5 as far as difficulty, 10 being extremely difficult, and being able to meet our expectations and deadline. Like Steve mentioned, we had a hard stop, and so we had to get it implemented by a certain date, and we were able to meet that date without going over. In fact, we finished early, so that was allowed me to breathe easy that month when we went live.
We started back in September with the implementation, and we got it up and running within 7 months, it's amazing for me as a project manager, seeing something so extensive and integrated within our firm get up and running so quickly. There were very rarely any bumps in the road, so it was a very smooth process. Like I said, easy to implement, which is really nice.
So that's a really good question. It really depends on the user base that you're talking about. So the receptionists have a very unique use case. Our firm, we have long tenured staff. We have someone retiring after 45 years. She'll be retiring in the next week or so. So keeping that in mind, when you take someone who's using a system that they've been on for many years, and that's what they're accustomed to, people are reluctant to change. So they see, the receptionists in particular see the value. They see the benefit. They see that having two separate systems is not efficient, and bridging the two, putting the two together, so you have your conference room reservation system within your email system, is absolutely beneficial. And having availability to the resources when you schedule a meeting. There are some other things that they are looking for that require additional training, such as the administrative portal. Now that was a tailored training just for that specific user group, because they do more administrative functions that go deeper into the application than an attorney or even an admin would do. So I would say that for that particular user group, the learning curve was a bit more than everyone else. But other than that, the vast majority of the feedback that we've received from our firm has been very positive. People like the way that it looks. They like the simplicity of it. They like that it's integrated into Outlook. And there's obviously, this is just, from my opinion, phase one. There's some additional things that AskCody offers that we do intend to implement in the next year or two.
Yeah, to add to that, with the Outlook integration, one of our biggest pain points with our previous system was if a meeting gets scheduled but then canceled, probably over 90% of the time, they would forget to go back to the portal for our meeting room management and cancel the meeting. So the assumption was there that the room was still reserved. And that would create some confusion within the offices. So being able to cancel a meeting within Outlook, which is what we're traditionally used to, and then having that also then trickle down to AskCody and have it canceled in the AskCody system automatically and have that seamless experience is definitely beneficial for us.
The adoption was very successful. It was very easy for the users to pick it up and actually use. The feedback I've been getting a lot of feedback, has been very positive. I do get a lot of questions, around how do I do this, how do I do that? And once I explain, it's all there within Outlook, it's an add-in, this is how you use it. I rarely have any negative, feedback from that. So I would say overall the adoption has been very successful, very easy for the end user to pick up, and fairly user-friendly. So overall, success.
And let me just add, we are very, very reluctant to adding third-party applications to our email system because those resources take a toll. And in the past, we've seen a lot of instances where those third-party apps either cause the email system to performance degradation or crashing, instability. We haven't seen any of that with AskCody. And I'll be honest, that was one of my biggest concerns. When we first started talking, I wanted to know what the impact was going to be with our email system, and there's been none whatsoever. You can easily miss that AskCody is even installed if you're not looking for it. It runs very quietly, it's very lightweight, and it hasn't introduced any sort of stability problem.